Well, welcome to Myrtle Grove Christian School, and thank you for paying us a visit here by way of this introductory video. My name's Stacey Miller, and I'm the head of school here. And this video has been designed for prospective parents who are considering Myrtle Grove among their school options. If that's the case for you, we're certainly honored that you would give us that consideration. Well, we realize, of course, that everybody really comes at a school decision with a somewhat of a unique perspective, depending on the age of your kids, the number of kids you have, what some of their needs are, or whatever. Everybody has slightly different priorities and questions and things that they're asking. But it also seems that most parents, as they're visiting schools, no matter which schools or how many, there are certain basic questions that you probably have about any school. And you want to know things like, is there a quality academic program at the school? Is it a healthy and safe environment for my child? Tell me about your extracurricular programs and things of that sort. And I would just say to you that those detailed questions are really probably best answered by a visit on campus. And certainly at the end of this video, if you decide you would like more information, we would encourage you and invite you to contact our admissions department here and schedule a tour. They'd be glad to arrange that for you. So you might say, in a manner of speaking, that the purpose of this video is to help you decide whether or not you want to make that visit. Because we can say sincerely that our goal is not to convince you that Myrtle Grove Christian School is right for your family, but rather to give you enough information so that you know, regardless of the choice you make, you're more convinced you're making the right decision. And so what I'm going to try to do is just to highlight some of the distinctive qualities of Myrtle Grove as a Christian school. And in the process, I hope I'll give you some food for thought about making a school decision in general and some things that you can apply as you visit other places as well. So let me begin with this question. What will she be when she grows up? If you look at this picture and put your child's face in that picture, ask yourself that question. What will she be when she grows up? Or what will he be when he grows up? And usually when we ask ourselves these questions as parents, we're thinking of things vocationally. So we think about our child when they grow up being a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or a missionary or a pastor, teacher, and so forth. Vocational things that frankly we never know what they're actually going to be. But one of the things we do know is if by the grace of God this little girl grows up, she's going to be a woman. And that means she's likely to play all kinds of roles. It's very possible she's going to be a wife and a mother. She's going to be engaged in some kind of work. She may be a member of a church. She'll be somebody's neighbor. She'll be a citizen of some community and involved in many ways there. So she'll play many roles in her life as a woman. And so the follow-up question is, what kind of woman will she be? And this is a profoundly important question because the end depends upon the beginning. The kind of woman that she ends up being depends upon the kind of girl she begins to be, the kind of woman she develops into over the course of her life. And there are all kinds of influences that are going to shape that girl into that woman. Cultural influences like friends and social environments, books, including school books, mass media and entertainment, church community involvement, and those kind of things, all kinds of cultural influences. But two influences I think are especially noteworthy and I'd like to highlight. And the first of those is parents. And it goes without saying, of course, that parents are immeasurably influential in the lives of their children. And sometimes I think we begin to question that. The older our kids get, and I don't know how old your child is, but I think the older they get, the more we question how much we're influencing them and how much other people or other factors are influencing them. But there is a book entitled Soul Searching. It was written by Dr. Christian Smith, who is a sociology professor at Notre Dame. And it's a result of some research that was done, a national research study on the religious lives of youth in America. And one of the things he said was this, is that a lot of sociological research suggests that the most important social influence in shaping young people's religious lives is the religious life modeled and taught to them by their parents. Now, that may be good news, or that may be bad news, or maybe a little bit of both, because I think the truth is we never perfectly teach the things to our kids that we consider important, and we certainly never model perfectly the things that we want them to learn. But it is encouraging to know that in spite of all the other things that have influence on our children, that parents are still the single most influential factor in shaping their religious lives. And that of course, is very important to us as a Christian school. The second noteworthy influence that I would mention is teachers. And Jesus said in Luke 6:40, "A disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher." Everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. Now, I'll tell you that is a verse that at times terrifies us as a Christian school faculty. It gives us a lump in our throat. We take that very seriously. And in fact, very often we start our day, every day here in devotions and prayer time. And this is a verse we often remind one another of. And it becomes our prayer, in fact, at the beginning of the day many times. Lord, help us to be worthy of imitation today, because when we're finished, our students will be like we are. And so I would encourage you not only to examine the faculty at Myrtle Grove Christian School that way, but any school you visit, really take a close look at the faculty and ask yourself that question. Does this faculty embody the kind of qualities that I would like to see reproduced in the life of my child? And if the answer is yes, then you may have taken yourself a long way toward finding a school that may be a good match for you. But parents and teachers and all these other factors really are going to shape our kids from the kids they are now into the adults they're going to become. And so that brings us back to that original question. When you imagine your child, what will she be when she grows up, or what will he be when he grows up? Or maybe the better question at this point is, what do you hope he's going to be when he grows up? When you kneel down beside his bed and pray for him, what is it you're praying for? If you say, Lord, shape this little precious boy into a man who blank, what do you fill in the blank? And if you could design an education that would seem most likely to guide your child in that direction, what would that education look like? And if you can get clarity on the answers to those two questions, and then find a school that seems to align pretty closely with your answers, then you've probably found a home for your child in school. Well, Myrtle Grove Christian School has answered those questions, and I'd say we've answered the first one in the way of our expected student outcomes, and that's a document you can pull up on our website. There are 21 specific outcomes that we say when they're 8th graders, and they're not quite adults, of course, at that point, but on the trajectory to adulthood, when they pass through the 8th grade mark, what do we hope they're going to look like? And one of the things I would point out to you is that our school has stated not only academic and skills-related outcomes, but also outcomes concerning their spiritual growth, as well as their worldview orientation. And so we have specifically Christian aspirations for our students. And so what we propose, and it would be no surprise to you, but what we propose as an education is a Christian education to lead them there. And that means a number of things, and partly it means that our school is going to contain program elements such as chapel, mission and ministry opportunities, as well as Bible class that's going to have an impact on them spiritually. But it also means that we really approach every subject. We view every subject through biblical lenses, you might say. And I won't try to delve too deeply into exactly how that plays out. But I'll try to illustrate it with this. C.S. Lewis said that, I believe in Christianity as I believe the sun has risen. Not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. And so we believe that a Christian worldview illuminates everything else that we see. It illuminates every subject that we teach. And we try to teach those from a Christian perspective and to unveil biblical truth that we find in every subject area. And again, I won't try to elaborate on exactly what that means, but I would point you back to our website once again. We have a worldview statement that just outlines what we mean when we say we teach from a biblical worldview. So I would say if our school, if what we want for our students seems to match pretty closely what you want for your child, and if the education that we've designed to get them there matches pretty closely to what you desire for your children, and even as Dr. Christian Smith said, what you model and teach at home, if those are pretty closely aligned, then Myrtle Grove Christian School may be a really good fit for you. And if they're not well aligned, well, aren't you glad to know that after watching a short video? And that helps make your decisions and give you some direction as you go look in other places. But let me just try to conclude here by highlighting a few things about, as a Christian school, who we are and who we're not. So as a Christian school, we're not immune from problems. So just because we're Christian doesn't mean everybody here acts like Jesus by any stretch of the imagination. And that's true of faculty and staff. It's true of the administration. It's true of students and parents and everybody involved here. We have problems just like any other group of people has problems. And so our school is no escape from problems. Hopefully part of what is special about our school is the way that we approach problems. And part of our reputation, I think, is that we do take a redemptive approach, a grace-filled approach in the way that we address problems as they arise here at our school. But we're not immune from them by any stretch of the imagination. We're also not just Sunday school for the weekdays, and so this is not, school is not some ploy to get you in to do churchy kind of stuff. No, we're a school, and we're a dually accredited school, and again, academic things are things that schools can measure reasonably well, and I think we can demonstrate that we do school stuff well. But we're a legitimate school with a strong academic program, not simply Sunday school for the weekdays. But we're also not simply a non-public school. And I do like to emphasize this, even at risk of it sounding a little bit offensive, but we're not simply a non-public school. And sometimes I think parents do come looking at our school. They're interested in a non-public school, perhaps a less expensive non-public school. And they may think that the Christian dimension of our school is not a priority for them, but they think they can grin and bear it, so to speak. And I would just tell you from my experience that over time, you can neither grin nor bear it. And it's not because it's overbearing, it's just because it is so integral to who we are. Our school is dipped in the dye, as it were, of a Christian identity, and it colors everything that we do. So we're not simply a non-public school, but what we are is, once again, a school committed to a balance of truth and grace. I think people who have been here would testify to that. We're a school committed to academic excellence and committed as well to a thoroughly Christian education. And if those things resonate with you, again, we would invite you to contact our admissions department and schedule a time to come visit and take a tour. And if not, please know from the bottom of our heart that we extend to you our richest blessing and God's blessings as you search for the school that is right for your child and for your family. And so I hope this video has been helpful to that end, and God bless you as you continue your school search. Thank you.